Hey YouTube, so in this video we are going to talk about EQ. But before we talk about EQ, we gotta talk a little bit about orchestration first. So let's get into that. Alright, bass player, you're first. Hey sound guy, can you lower the high end? Yeah, thank you. Alright keys, let's get it. Whoa dude, that's too low. Go up an octave. Go up an octave. There you go. See, now you sit in the mix. You know, you're where you're supposed to be. Guitar player, your turn. Hey, sound guy, can you cut the low end of his guitar? We don't need that. Thank you. Wait, is that Iwi player coming? Wait, I thought he wasn't coming. He doesn't know how to play. He's playing too low, playing too high, he's doing too much. Tell him to stop. So when it comes to EQ, there's mainly just two rules that you need to follow. Take away the frequencies that you do not like or you don't need, and boosting the frequencies that you do like and you want to emphasize. Okay, so the reason I wanted to... Okay, so I don't have my microphone stand with me because it's in my car because I have a gig coming up. But, alright, so the reason why I wanted to show you about orchestration first is because no matter if you have a mix there and you have all your instruments playing in the same frequency range, it's gonna be muddy no matter what, because they're all clouding each other. So even if you were EQing things out, it's just not gonna work as well. So what I wanted to show is that the bass player has his own space, the keyboard player has its own space, the guitar player has its own space, and your melodic players as well. And then you can use EQ to your advantage to even emphasize those spaces. I mean, a bass guitarist can play up as much as you want. I mean, I do that all the time. I play bass and chords. But for like the standard band music, everyone has their spot. So now I'm about to explain what those spots are. So what you want to be conscious of is the frequency range of the instruments that you're going to be mixing. Let's EQ the bass guitar. I think that one would have... The bass guitar would have more information. Sonic information. Okay, so let's listen to the bass guitar. So there's no processing, no EQ, no anything. You can hear a lot of high end in there. So since I wanted the song to sound a little mellow, what I can do is just take out some of the high end. But you gotta be careful. If you take out too much, you lose the definition. So now that could be a cool effect if I was going for that, but I'm not. So normally what I would do, I would just cut out just this part of the high end, or around like 10K and up. And then another trick that I like to do, so a lot of people think, oh, it's bass guitar, you want more bass. And the thing is, yes, but no, because if you think about it in the context of a mix, we gotta listen to where does the kick drum mainly lie and where does the bass guitar usually lie. So the kick drum usually lies, like the meat of the sound is around like this 50 hertz. Nothing really sits there other than the kick drum. I mean, the bass guitar can, but it kind of gets in the way of the kick drum. So what I usually do, I'll actually cut out around 50. Because you gotta think, you know, if we're like in a large venue and you have like these really strong subs that can actually handle the lower frequencies, if the kick drum and the bass drum are colliding in that frequency spectrum, that's a problem. So what I do, I give all that space to the kick drum and take it out on the bass drum. So, and it's a very subtle thing, but it makes a difference. Very subtle. And then another thing, so we mentioned taking away the frequencies that you don't like and then boosting the frequencies that you do like. Um, so when I'm messing with bass guitar, I've noticed that around the 5,000 hertz range, not many instruments emphasize that. So I like to boost that a little bit on the bass guitar to give a little punch, but not too much. 1000K, I'm gonna boost it maybe 3 decibels. If you do more than 3 decibels, um, you're really just if you do more than 3 decibels, you're impacting the sound negatively usually, and you won't like it. Too well, at least I don't like it. And then also when you're boosting things, you want them to be what it's called a Q. So like the curve, you want it to be a little wider when you're boosting things. 3 decibels. Oh, that's not 3. That's 30. 3. Very subtle movement. Now let's listen to it. Like I said, since this is such a mellow song, I might actually want to cut more bass. Actually, I would usually use just a different bass guitar, but I didn't, so I'm going to cheat. Now let's move on to the piano. So the thing with when it comes to keyboards, I don't want to change it too much because the keyboard piano, it covers the entire frequency spectrum, and if you take out too much of any side, it doesn't sound like the piano anymore. So you have to be careful for instruments that can take over the entire frequency spectrum. Well, let's listen to it without any EQ. Now I'm gonna be dramatic and cut a lot of low end. That could sound cool, depending on what the song is. But that's not what I want. But I don't want the keyboard frequencies to cover the bass guitar. So, right around, I usually cut maybe, say like 120 hertz. So now let me find a frequency of the keyboard that I do like, and this is how I figure out what I like to boost. I will literally, well, also, okay, another way to find out what you want to take out is called, I call it frequency scrubbing. I don't know if there's an actual term for it, but boost it really high, make the band really small, and you just sweep across trying to find the things that you don't like. So I don't like that too much. So what I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go the opposite direction. And now I'm cutting it out. So that's how I found the frequencies I did not like, and I'm taking it out. EQ does not have to be very drastic. I'm making it drastic to prove a point, but it does not have to be that way. Now let's go to like the pads, for example. So the pads cover the entire frequency spectrum. So now let's listen to the pads real quick. So the pads have a good amount of low end, but most of my notes are here. So I'm just gonna cut this. Very subtle. What I could also do, if I want to make it even warmer, I could take the high end out. Now let me find the frequency that I like the most. I think I like that. Now let's listen to that in context of the mix. If you don't EQ in the context of the mix of all the instruments, they can end up not sounding together. So now I'm gonna put them all back together and let's listen. So my mix sounds very muted right now. But that's on purpose because I wanted this to sound very calm and very undefined when it comes to other stuff. But since now these other ones sound so muted in the lower register, I have to make sure I have something in the higher register to counteract all that stuff. So this is where the guitar comes into play. So I'm just gonna cut the low end automatically within my guitar. So that's flat. So as you can see, I took out 200 and below because the guitar doesn't need that. But I could even make it even more dramatic. Now let's find the frequency that I like the most. I think I like that. So I'm gonna go just 3 decibels. So again, you always have to check with the mix. This is not my best the best songs I've created. You know, I just kind of threw this together just for the sake of showing how EQ works. But if anything, if it made sense, you know, I just went through each individual track to figure out what can I get rid of and what can I add. And you know, mixing is its own thing. This was all just purely just the EQ portion. But EQ wise, this is what it sounds like. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you learned a little bit about EQ. Once again, it's about taking away what you don't like and then boosting the things that you do like. If you have any questions, just drop it down below. If you think I can go a little more thorough on things, just let me know. I kind of made it a little quick. But if you have any ideas on what we can do for the next videos or tutorials, just let me know. If you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, share it to someone else who would like the video, and thank you for watching. And now we fade out. Oh.